Hello students, good afternoon to all. So today we continue lesson 3, that is the types of software. In the last class we have studied about the operating system, that is about the system software and what are the functions of the operating system. And today we will study about the language processor. So what are the language processors? A computer does not understand any other language other than the machine language. So computer understands only the machine language. So So some software is needed which translate our uh, high level language, means English language, into the machine language which the computer understands easily. So yes, for that purpose we need the language processor. Language processor are the what are the language processor? Language processors are the software. It is the translator software which translates the high level language into the machine language. So the programmer use the high level language, means English language for writing the for writing the program, but the computer do not understand this high level language. And this high level language, this source code needs to be translated into the binary code which the computer understands. The computer understands only the binary code, that is the zeros and ones. Okay, so various types of the language processors are there, which is the assembler, interpreter, and combine. So that we will study uh, one by one. First, what is the assembler? Assembler is also a translator software, and this assembler, what does this assembler do? So, this assembler translates the mnemonic codes, that is the assembly code, into the machine code. What are the work of the assembler? Assembler is a software translator which translates the assembly code into the machine code. And what are the assembly codes? The mnemonics, short abbreviations of the program, short abbreviations of the instructions are called the mnemonics. Like for addition we write add, for multiplication we write mul. The instructions we write add x comma y, means values that is stored in register x and y should be added. That are the assembly codes. For writing the assembly codes, assembly charts are there. With the help of the assembly charts, we use to write the assembly codes. Now, assembly language. What is this assembly language? Assembly language is the low-level language where the programmer uses the symbolic representation or names. Here we use the symbols for addition. They are using the symbols A double D add or names. That is called the mnemonics instead of numbers. Okay. For some other operations also we use some that is the decimal codes. So here we find the personal computer has a microprocessor that manages the computer's arithmetical, logical, and control activities. And each family of the processor has its own set of instructions for handling various operations, such as getting input from the keyboard, displaying information on the screen, and performing various other jobs. Okay. So a processor understands only the machine language instructions, which are the strings of zeros and ones. Machine language is too obscure and complex. Machine language is too much complex. It is very difficult to remember the code written in zeros and ones. So machine language is too obscure and complex for using in the software development. So the low-level assembly language is designed for a specific family of the processors that represent the various instructions in symbolic code at a more understandable format. Okay, so assembler is a program. What is assembler? Assembler is a program used to translate the mnemonic codes to their machine language. Next, advantages of the assembly language. Assembly language is it requires the less memory and execution time. It allows the hardware specific complex jobs in an easier way. It is suitable for time critical jobs where the time is an issue, where you want less time for the execution. For that, we can go for the assembly programming. It is most suitable for writing the interrupt service routines and other memory related programs. It is written here, interrupt service routines means whenever we are using any hardware like the keyboard or mouse or printer we are using, so the interrupt is generated to the processor. So interrupt has the highest priority. Next is the interpreter. Interpreter or compiler, both are the translator software. These are the programs Compiler translates the program's high-level language into the machine-level language at once. At one go, it will translate the entire page, but the interpreter translates line by line. Basic difference between the compiler and interpreter is that both are the translator, but the compiler translates the entire high-level language into the machine code at one go, but the interpreter translates the high-level language line by line into the machine code. Compiler checks the error in the program and reports them. All the errors are to be removed, otherwise the code will not be compiled as expected. Every programming language has its own compilers. C language has also its own compiler. Java has also its own compiler. Python also has its own compiler. Okay. So this interpreter converts a program written in a high-level language to the machine language line by line, and simultaneously it executes the converted line also. Interpreter is used to execute the program, to run the program, and after executing it, it displays the output. Okay. So as you can see in the figure of figure page number 56, that was every interpreter or compiler takes the source code and translate it into the object code. So assembler is used to translate the assembly code to the machine readable code, which we have discussed earlier. You can see the interpreter. Interpreter is also a system software which has the capability to read and execute the program. So interpreter do the translation line by line. Interpreter interprets program line by line, which means it translates one statement at a single go. Okay. So now device drivers. So what are the device drivers? Device drivers are the softwares. These are the special programs which control the execution of a particular hardware device. So for if you want to use the mouse, so device driver, the mouse is needed. If you want to use the webcam of the laptop, so device driver for the webcam is needed. If you want to use the scanner or printer, so device driver for the printer or scanner is needed in the computer. Okay. So the device drivers are used to convert the instructions given by the operating system into commands. So this device drivers, what it does? It uses to convert the instructions given by the operating system. So what is instructions given by the operating systems that it converts into the commands that can be easily interpreted by the specific hardware devices. So that what the command operating system gives that the hardware can understand. So for that purpose, the device driver is there to establish the communication between the operating system and the hardware. Okay. So whenever you purchase a new hardware, suppose the printer you are purchasing, so we need to install the printer software with an installation disk. That is the device driver. That is the printer driver. Similarly, every hardware such as monitor, scanner, mouse, keyboard, modem has its own driver. So a device driver performs the following job. What it does? See, to accept the request from the device, independent software above to it. So if you want to accept the request from the device, independent software is above to it. So we need a independent software, that is the device driver. Interact with the device controller to take and give the input output and perform the required error handling. For that purpose also device driver is needed. Making sure that the request is executed successfully. Whatever the request you are giving with the help of the computer, with the help of the operating system, that can only be successfully done with the help of the device driver only. Next is the utility software. What are the utility software? Utility software are the programs that support the smooth functioning of a computer. Software utilities are special designed to help the end user. And this utility software assists the operating system in carrying out certain special tasks that are called the utility software. So many utility softwares are there. The utility that we use depend on the operating system running on your computer. What are the utilities provided by the operating system? Some utilities help you to avoid virus attacks or clean virus. For this we are using antivirus. Some help to backup data and some help to the recover data. So main utility programs are file and folder management, that is the backup system restore compression. Now first you see the antivirus. So this antivirus is a software. Antivirus is also a piece of code software, but it is a malicious program that attaches itself to a host program or some other program and makes the multiple copies of itself in having a purpose to slow down the computer or having a purpose of to destroy the file storage system of the computer or you uh, destroy the system. A software that assists the operating system in providing the virus-free environment. Means any software which help you to provide the virus-free environment to the user is called antivirus. So antivirus scans the system for any virus. If detected, it remove it, it delete it, or it isolate it or quarantine it. It can detect many types of virus like the root virus, trojan virus, worm virus, and spyware. So there are different types of the viruses are there. So when any external storage device like USB device is attached to the system, antivirus software scans it and gives an alert if a virus is detected. If you are using a pen drive, if suppose in that pen drive the virus is there, so antivirus software will scan it, and if it is found any virus, it will give you the message, it will alert you. You can set up your system for periodic scans or scan whenever you feel the need. Okay. Next are the file management tools are there. Many, as you know, the file management is an important function of the operating system, as all the data and instructions are stored in the computer in the form of the files. So many utility software providing regular file management tasks like the browse, search, update, preview. So Windows Explorer in the middle of the operating system, Google Desktop, Directory, Opus, Double Commander, all these are the file management tools. Okay. Next is the compression tool. So many storage space is always at a premium in the computer systems. So operating systems are always looking a way to minimize the amount of storage space taken by the files. That is done with the help of the compression tools. Utilities that assist the operating system in sorting the files so that they take the less space in the computer. For that purpose, we are using a WinRAR, Windows RAR file, pzip, or the Archiver. Thus, these are the popular compression tools. Next are disk cleanup. Disk cleanup tools assist the user in freeing up the disk space in the computer from the hard disk space he wants to free up. Software scans the hard disk to find files that are no longer used and free the space by deleting that file. Okay. Disk defragmenter are there. Disk defragmenter is a disk management utility that increases the file access speeds by rearranging the fragmented files on contiguous location. So large files are broken down into fragments and may be stored in the non-contiguous location if contiguous ones are not available. So when such files are accessed by the user, access speed is slowed due to fragmentation. So this defragmenter what does? It will scan the hard disk and try to assemble the file fragments so that they may be stored in the contiguous location. And if all the fragment parts is assembled into or integrated into a big fragment, so that its access will be very easy. So its access time will decrease. In a very less time, we can open data file. So that is the task of the disk defragmenter. Okay. So the storage of file in several non-contiguous areas of the disk rather than a single contiguous unit is called disk fragmentation. When a file is stored on a disk, the operating system searches for the first available free block on the disk. Whenever you want to store a file on the disk, so the operating system searches a available free block on the disk and it stores the file there. If the file is too large, suppose, for one block, the operating system searches for the next free block and stores the next part of the file there. If, a, if suppose second block is also not enough to store the file, then it look for the any third non-contiguous block to store the file. So these blocks may not be in the contiguous form or may be scattered over the disk. So this fragmentation slows down the retrieval of the data. So to remove the file fragmentation, a disk defragmenter program we use that rearranges all the files and directories into one contiguous area of disk. So how to run a disk defragmenter? If you want to run a disk defragmenter, so how you can run it? you have to click on the start, go to all program. So click on the start here, and you'll find in go to all programs. The all programs you'll find that is accessories. Go to accessories. So here you search it. They are the accessories. Okay. And here you find the centered programs are there. And here you can find the accessories. So after accessories, you'll find the system tools, and the system tools you'll find the disk defragmenter. What you find? System tools, and the system tools you'll find disk defragmenter. Okay. So here you can see the installment. Okay, so let me close this negative. So now, so how to run the disk defragmenter? We have to click on the start, and after the start, we have to go on the all program. In the all program, you find accessories, system tool, and disk defragmenter in the Windows 7. You find there. This process will open the disk defragmenter software. Disk defragmenter software. Now select the drive which is to be defragmented. Click on the defragment disk button. Okay, there you find the defragment disk button, as you can see in the figure 3.2 of your book. This defragment disk button. This will initiate the process of defragmentation that will take more than an hour to finish. Okay. Next is the disk cleanup. Next is the disk cleanup. You search the computer hard disk for unnecessary files. So, for what purpose you are using a disk cleanup? For searching the unnecessary files which are not being used for a long time and occupy the huge amount of space. It helps to clear the disk space. So how you use the disk cleanup utility? Again, you go on the start, all program accessories, system tools to find the disk cleanup. So here we can search it also by typing the disk cleanup. And then disk cleanup app there, and with the help of the disk cleanup app, you can use. Okay, here the drive you want to clean up. Like this, it will open. Okay, so a dialog box will open and ask you to select the drive. Now click on the drop down button and select the drive that you want to clean up. So here the drop down button is there. Which drive you want to clean, C, D or E, any drive you can select. And after that you have to click on the OK. So it will clean it. So I am not going to clean it. Exit. So the utility will search and display the unnecessary file that can safely be deleted. Okay. Next, the virus scanner cleaner. So in today's digital era, where all the work is being done on the computer, so it is uh, needed to safeguard our data from the virus. So virus is a malicious program which replicates itself and makes the computer unstable. And this antivirus software are the computer programs which identify, prevent, and remove the viruses from our computers. So some popular antivirus are there: Quickly, Total Security, Norton antivirus, McAfee antivirus, or Kaspersky antivirus. Okay, so this need to be installed in our computer. So, if suppose any antivirus is there in your system, you already installed any antivirus. So, how you scan your pen drive with the help of the antivirus software? Okay, for that purpose, first you attach your pen drive to the computer by inserting it in the USB port. Click on the start and go to the computer. Right click on the drive of the pen drive icon. So you will see a drop down mainly with the multiple options you will find. So click on scan using quick hill, total security scan. If you are using the total quick hill total security, you will get the option. The antivirus software window will open and start the scan process. So next is the encryption tool or decryption tool. For what purpose we are using the encryption tool or decryption tool? Encryption is the process of converting the data in the plain text data into the unreadable form, which cannot be read by a person. That is encryption. Encryption is the process of converting data in a form that cannot be easily read by, cannot be easily understood by anyone except those having the special information, which is called the key. So this unreadable form of data is called the cipher text. Okay. So it is mainly used in the surveillance systems like online banking, whatever the transactions, request is sent in the encrypted form. Many e-commerce and mobile services provide this encryption. So FlexScript is one of the most popular encrypting software. For encryption, we use many software. FlexScript is the very popular encrypting software which can be downloaded free of charge from the play to pay. Next, the decryption is the process of converting the encrypted data in the ciphertext into the plain text into the readable format. For decrypting, we need a key. Okay. So this is all for the today, students. In the next class, we'll study about the application software, many general purpose of the many general purpose application software. So this is all for today. Thank you for your kind attention.